Okay, everything's working. We can get started. Guys, happy Friday. As I said, my name is Patrick. Run the marketing department here at Art Storefronts. Been doing that going on 5 years now. So let me give you the agenda for today's session. So, we always get like a mixed bag of people that are on these calls. Some people sort of know who we are, know what we do to a certain extent. Some people are like, what the heck do you guys do? I don't understand. Are you a marketplace? And everything in between. So what we do is I have kind of like a high level demo that I recorded 2 weeks ago that's pretty good. It walks you through who we are, what we do, high level, quick, all the bells, all the whistles, the marketing, teaching, the software, and everything in between. So we'll play that video, and then on the back end of that video, depending on how I'm feeling, it might rant a little bit, and then we get into your Q&A. The Q&A is quite literally the best part of this entire session. And I'm in a unique place in the sense that I run 3 of these things a week, multiple a week with my customers. I don't think it's hyperbole when I say it. I've been saying this the last couple of weeks, but I think I talk to more artists and photographers on a week in, week out basis than any other human being on the planet. I've heard it all. I've seen it all. I'm really good at digital marketing, and I've got data on 4,800 customers. So, many of them are doing extremely well. I get to see what they're doing to do extremely well, what types of traffic they have, what types of marketing, how they're handling pricing, what they're doing about commissions, originals, what media types they're offering. Are they licensing images? Are they doing limited editions? How they set up their stores and everything in between. So, regardless if you ever become an Art Storefronts customer, I've seen a lot. I've got some pretty solid intel and data, and I would love to hear about where you are in your career. If you sold absolutely nothing, you've never tried, you're contemplating, you want to start your art business, or was your art business humming along and you had some good offline revenue sources and the pandemic absolutely crushed all of that? I want to hear about that. Do you have niche selections or media types, or what about printing or pricing or anything, literally anything in between? I would love to hear it. So the Q&A in the end is totally the funnest part of it all. And I'll explain how you can answer or ask questions, raise your hands, all of that jazz. But we'll get into the video. It'll explain who we are, what we do, and then I will see you guys in just a second. So go ahead, April, you can start it. This is the homepage I'm talking about that we just like recently redid, and I think it does a really good job articulating sort of who we are, what we do at a very high level. And if you scroll down the page, there's a bunch of videos and me explaining a whole bunch of things, everything that we do from top to bottom. But our tagline, which states everything that you need to start, run, and grow a successful art business, really does sum up what we do. We get pigeonholed as they're a website company. They're a website company, and yes, we do offer websites, but it is a tiny, tiny portion of what we do. Ultimately, we learned a couple of years ago, the hard way, by the way, if we are going to grow and be successful as a business, Art Storefronts, that is 100% dependent, surprise this one, but on how successful our customers are, on how much art and photography our customers are selling on a yearly basis. And so when you look at that as the problem that we're solving, it becomes so much more than a website, because a website is not enough. But still, we're going to talk about the website. I'm going to get into the other layers as we go down. So it does indeed all start with the website. I will pull one up because it'll make it more interactive. And, you know, anyone that's been attempting to sell art or photography for any period of time, I'll use Bono today, they know one thing conclusively: selling art in an e-commerce capacity digitally online is not like selling other items. It's not like selling swim fins or ladies' handbags or electric scooters or bicycles or anything else, right? Buying art, okay, and buying art online is A, an extremely visual process, and B, an extremely friction filled process. And what do I mean by friction? I mean, friction is all of the various different things, okay, that will prevent a visitor to your website from turning into a buyer, okay? And so, really, everything that we do with our software is attempt to solve for this friction, okay? To solve for the friction, to solve for how important the visual aspects are towards selling art and photography online. And, it's never any one feature, it's all of the features working together. It can be little things like when you select a media type, which is canvas, it changes to a canvas, a gallery wrapped canvas. Most people don't even know what a canvas is. And so we've developed special videos that show the differences, the nuances in the real world, what an actual canvas print looks like, what's going to show up at their house, what are the high points of this one, is canvas different than metal. Oops, I missed a click on that. And so you can see what a metal print looks like and how it's sitting flat, eventually how it's hanging up, all the nuances, the intricacies, because it is such a visual process buying art. We have a feature called the wall preview, which allows you to cycle through various different room types. Again, such a visual process buying art. Not only can you circle through the different room types, and yes, you can add your own room type images in. We use some generic ones by design, and you can size pieces up and down, see what it's going to look like. Do I need a 36 by 49? Is that too big? Do I instead want a 28 by 38? We're making it easier for your potential customer to get to a buying decision. What if they want to, their walls aren't white, right? What if they're this ugly color? Or there's something a little bit darker? Is the piece going to look good with this color, right? Because again, buying art is just such an incredibly visual process. Another feature that everybody likes to talk about that we get a lot of plaudits for is
Here we
we
are
have this
on
feature,
artist and art.
excuse me, mute that, called live preview with AR. Okay. And what this is this allows somebody to come to your website with their telephone, can be iPhone or Android. You can see the phones here on the right hand side. And without downloading any apps, they can just use their phone, their camera, and press one button on your website that says live preview. And what this is going to do, it's going to take the camera on their phone, okay, which is going to show the real room, the real wall, where the art will potentially go. And then it takes your piece in augmented reality and it projects it onto the wall. And you're able to move it around with your finger. You're able to size it up, size it down, take screenshots. And so, is it going to look great in the room? What size do I need to get, right? And so, again, this is attempting to solve for the visual friction of, I don't know if it's going to work in my room. I don't know what it's going to look like, right? It's just getting them one step closer to a buying decision, removing the friction from the process. And, you know, I've been doing e-commerce marketing, digital marketing my entire life. Everyone loves to gravitate towards the wall preview or the live preview with AR. But the reality is when you do this for any period of time, it's not about one individual feature. It's about all the features working in conjunction, and you never know which one's going to end up. If we think of a sports analogy like a basketball team, it's how many players you have on the court that can contribute, right, to eventually scoring that basket. And so it's why we do the demo process. We have literally hundreds and hundreds of features, all to remove the friction, all to help you get better at selling art and photography online. And when you request one of these things, our outreach team will reach out, have a conversation with you, and schedule it. It goes like an hour and 10 minutes, and we just go through feature after feature after feature. So it's not about any one of them; it's about all of them working in conjunction. Independent of that, let's keep working down the page. So we also have a ton of back-end software. It turns out running an art business, art photography business, there's a ton of individual little nuance and things that can slow you down. Okay, things like uploading an image and how many images do you have to upload to your web page for all the various different media sizes and types you have. It's very helpful to be able to just upload one, have all the sizes auto-populate for you, and tell you exactly what you can sell. Things like markups. How do you set markups? Can you do it globally? Can you do it per media type, right? And so no one likes to talk about the back end features, but we have a slew of those as well, all there to make your life easier, to give you time back. Okay. Um, let's talk about our fulfillment. And we love talking about this. This is in our company DNA pretty significantly, but I'll pull up a website. So we're on Bill Stidham's site. Or I should probably start here actually. So we are integrated. Well, let me start here. You can have it any which way you like. If you're an artist that just does originals and you get orders, obviously you're going to be responsible for fulfilling the originals because you have them. If you're an artist that has a local printer or a photographer that has a local printer, you really like using your printer, you can use your printer. The orders come in, you send the order to your printer. We call that self fulfillment, no problem. What we recommend our customers do, though, is integrate with one of our print partners, and I'll get into the reasons why. But we've got Graphic Dimensions on the East Coast, we've got Bay Photo on the West Coast, we've got Print Partner for our customers in Canada, and then we just recently integrated with a company called Guten that handles the merchandise, and I'll get into that in a second. Um, how does it work? You sign up, you get your site set up, which usually takes 14 days or less. You click a button that says, I want to integrate with this print partner. An order comes into the website. The printer gets paid. You get paid. The order gets printed. The order gets boxed. Your logo goes on the side of the box. Boom, it ships to the customer. You touch absolutely nothing. There's nothing you have to touch, nothing you have to do. All happens automatically. And again, it's to give you back that amount of time. And you know, no one has time in today's day and age to be dealing with the admin. Okay. Any time that you spend on the admin, by which I mean sending the order to your local printer, uh, uh, checking on the proof, sending tracking numbers, did it ship, any of that correspondence, all of that, if you're spending your time on that, is time you are not spending on your biggest problem, which is your marketing. So we really believe like streamlining sort of this drop shipping, print on demand, automated fulfillment is a very, very wise decision if you want to create successful artists and photographers. Now, just recently, this was probably what, like a month before Christmas, maybe, we integrated with a company called Guten. And what it allows our customers to do is sell merchandise of a myriad of different kinds. Hoodies, iPhone cases, tank tops. They can come in, adjust the image exactly how they want to see it. Maybe they want to tilt it depending on what case it is, and get iPhone cases and a number of different other items. We've got throw pillows and I clicked out of it, and coffee mugs, and we're adding more and more and more and more of these. And on the subject of merch, we realize again, if you go back to our original mission, why we exist, we need to create a set of circumstances, a set of conditions such that the artist, the photographer can make and grow as successful a business as they want. And so some artists look at this merch and they're like, they turn their noses up at it and like, that's not fine art. Why would I ever want to do that? Some are like, I'm all in, I love it. We don't care. Our job is to provide as many different opportunities for artists and photographers to be successful as possible. And we've been totally blown away by how much of this stuff actually, believe it or not, sells. And some of it is higher margin than you would think. Like a throw pillow is $44, and what does a tote bag cost? I think a tote bag costs $38. So, sell it or not, you have every opportunity imaginable available to you. If you want to have it all, in kind of like Bill does here on his site, where you have your fine art media types across the top, and then you have the merch all in one product page. Great. If you want to have individual items in the store, you want to have your artwork, fine, and then you just want to have a line of phone cases. If you want to have one for a couple of weeks and then turn it off, you can do any and all of that, and it's one click to turn it on at any point in time. It's automated. It's completely automated in terms of fulfillment, and that's not going to change. And we realize again, like artists and photographers are essentially just creators, right? You're just creators, and you have a talent. You have a talent with a brush, or you have a talent with the lens. You want to monetize that talent. Okay. So again, our job is to give you as many different opportunities to be able to monetize that talent as possible. So that's how we go about it. And again, it's a debate about when to use it or when not. But somebody on one of these sessions earlier was like, who's the greatest rock band of all time? I was like, no, who? He's like, the Rolling Stones. He goes, guess what the Rolling Stones have at their concerts? I said, what? A giant booth for merch. He's like, they sell hundreds of thousands of dollars of it a year. If the Stones sell it, I'll sell it. So anyway, I thought that kind of stuck with me. It was fun. So that's our print fulfillment. And I should say too that we're adding calendars and we're adding puzzles and we are adding photo books. And to be honest with you, if they come out with a line of hot air balloons, we'll add hot air balloons too, right? Because again, it's creating a set of circumstances such that the artist and photographer can be successful. We don't care where the success comes from. I don't care if Brian gets into business and he's the number one iPhone selling case guy of the entire United States. He's got a successful business, right? So not for us to decide. Support. We believe we have best in class support. If you took a look at our Facebook ads and you scrolled through the 350 of them, you'll see more positive responses for the support than just about anything else. We're very, very good at this. Yes, it's in all the venues you think it is: email, phone, chat support. But in addition to that, kind of what I'm most proud about is we run 6 days a week, including Saturdays, Zoom sessions, just like the one you're on right now. Okay. And you can pop into one at any point in time with any support related issue and get fixed, get unstuck. There's screen shares. They can take over control of your computer and just get you sorted instantaneously. So we're very, very good at it. Not only do we support our application, we ask you guys, we teach you guys marketing all year long, and which I'll get into in a second. What if you're having a problem with Facebook or with Instagram or with MailChimp or with your Facebook ads? We actually support that too. You can pop into a Zoom session and say, hey, Patrick, I'm stuck on my Facebook ads. I'm getting this message. Can you help me? And our team will get you unstuck. That's an amazing thing. There's not many companies that do that. So I'm very, very proud about that. That's in terms of the overall website picture. And we essentially do all of that, okay, to give you your time back such that you can work on the biggest problem that every single solitary person on this Zoom call has, which is the marketing problem. You need to get better at it. And let me tell you, I've got 4,700 customers, and there's only one universal truth about every one of them, right? Every niche imaginable, every subject matter all over this country and others. Every one of them has a marketing problem. The person that just past $500,000 a year in sales has a marketing problem. They want to grow that business, they have a marketing problem. The person that just is getting started, sold their first piece, they have a marketing problem, and everybody in between, right? It is the biggest problem. And so, we want to create successful customers. We realize we need to teach artists and photographers how to market. And so, how did we solve for that particular problem? We created collectively what might as well be called the Art Business University. That's how we look at it, because I'm not sure there's a better term to explain it. One, we have the best digital education that exists in terms of selling art and photography online, full stop. I'm hang my hat on this. We have detailed documentation that we call playbooks on every marketing facet imaginable. How to run an email campaign, how to run a Black Friday sale, how to go live on Instagram, how to go live on Instagram and Facebook at the same time, how to go live on Instagram and Facebook at the same time with your laptop on a cell phone. Detailed, step by step, audio, video, screenshot documentation. If we're asking you to send emails, we will give you the email copy. You just adjust it to taste for what you're doing. So the playbooks are incredible. They're very robust, and they're very focused on teaching you how to market. We pair that with a 365-day a year marketing calendar. Okay. It has on it beginner, intermediate, and advanced. You take on what you can take on. You're never not knowing what you need to be doing on a week in, week out basis. You start doing, first, you're overwhelmed. You're like, I've never done this. This is crazy. How am I going to survive? And then you fight through it, and you got through the beginner level, and then you take on the intermediate, and then you take on the advanced. The majority of our customers follow this doggone near verbatim year in, year out, because it works. It's effective. Not only does it tell you what to do, but it solves for one of the other greatest pandemic of our lifetime, the shiny object syndrome. Okay. Not only does the calendar tell you what to do, it tells you what not to do. Okay. What not to be spending your time on. Right. And how do I know this? One, I'm very good at digital marketing. Two, we have 4,700 customers, and I get to see all of their data. I can tell everyone on this call conclusively, out of the 4,700 customers that I have not seen anyone turn a positive ROI on marketing on Pinterest. No one is making any money from marketing on Pinterest. So I'm going to tell you, you don't have to worry about Pinterest. I see you laughing, Mary. I do not want you spending any time on Pinterest, period. Waste of time. So too with SEO, okay? So the calendar is equally powerful on what you need to focus on is what you ignore, okay? It's what you ignore, and that's a big deal. Number 3 of the Art Business University is what we call office hours, okay? We take the entire customer base, we split it into 3. Until you sell $2,000 directly on your website, you're in the traction group. And after you sold $2,000 on your website, you're in the ramping group. After you sold a much higher revenue threshold that we don't publish, you get in the advanced group, which we call growth. We hold week in, week out, every single solitary week. And we took 1 week off for New Year's, but essentially 48, 49 weeks a year. Zoom calls like this. You come on a weekly basis. It's either me or members of my team. We go over the playbooks, we go over the calendars, we talk about wins, how somebody landed an interior decorator and sold $35,000 worth. They're going to come on and tell their story. Not only are they going to come on and tell their story, they're going to say, here's the email that did it, here's the copy, here's the Facebook post, and you can go and look at that stuff, right? And you're learning in concert with your peers. Digital online education is not enough, okay? If you look at the stats out there, I don't care who it is, Kajabi or Masterclass or lynda.com, 30% of the people that buy those courses actually finish them. So we can't just have digital education. We have to have in-person teaching sessions, and everyone knows how to Zoom now. It's our new reality. So those sessions, which we started like, I think 2 weeks, 3 weeks ahead of the pandemic, have been the single solitary biggest fundamental change to our business we've ever had. If before the pandemic, I had 100 customers, and I told those 100 customers via email, guys, Black Friday's coming. You got to get going on your sale. Here's the playbook, right? And then I recorded a podcast episode, and I was like, we're going to do this. 35 out of the 100 would take action. After these video sessions where I'm able to go through things, people are able to ask their questions, raise their hands, get unstuck, learn your peers. I have 75 people taking action on that sale, and it's fundamentally changing the business. It is making our customers more successful, more accountable, actually staying focused. Like, look, you guys are all solopreneurs for the most part. I mean, we could pull this entire group, and not a lot of you guys have a big team. You don't have an office behind you where you're yelling at an intern to help you out. You are a solopreneur, okay? Myself, the CEO, we've been entrepreneurs our entire life. I know it's a roller coaster. I know there's highs and the lows. When you're on those lows, you need a kick in the pants, right? You need to be lifted up sometimes, and that's what these Zoom sessions do too, which is incredible. We follow it up with a Facebook group that is highly curated. Okay. There's no trolls. There's no nonsense in there, right? You've seen some of the other groups out there online and how ridiculous it gets in those things. And artists are sharing with other artists, photographers are sharing with other photographers, the people that are in the landscape niche are talking to others in the landscape niche. Hey guys, what do you think of this new direction? What did you use in terms of pricing? They're publishing their wins. And so sometimes you can't just hear it from us, the official company mouthpiece. And so it's nice to have a whole bunch of people that are doing this same journey at the same time, helping each other out, sharing, what are you doing here? What are you doing there? So that collectively is the Art Business University. And it's like a college. I mean, it really is. And the difference is you pay your tuition, you come in, and there's no graduates because the learning never stops, right? And in addition to that, it never will stop. In today's digital marketing landscape, the goalposts are just constantly moving, right? Like so quickly, you feel like you just learned something and it moves over here. So we keep you up to date with all of that. As a final, about 6 months ago, or maybe 5 months ago now, we started an in-house marketing agency. And it's an in-house marketing agency that only does one thing. It helps artists and photographers sell more art online and off. And we believe already, as of current today's date, it's the biggest sole-focused art and photography marketing agency in the world. And that's not hyperbole. I've been asking on these calls, can someone name me an agency that specializes only in helping artists and photographers sell their work? I haven't found one. No one's ever put one in the chat for me, especially not a big one. Why? Because my aforementioned point, selling art and photography is not like selling swim fins or ladies' handbags or scooters. It's hard, right? It's really hard. And we're good at it because we've been working at it for a long time. Also, I get upset, right? Because I look at all of you guys as like, you own a McDonald's, right? And if you owned a McDonald's, you have to know how to do the ordering. You have to know how to clean the floors. You have to know how to open the building. You have to know how to operate the drive-through window. You have to be able to flip burgers and fries and do all of that and do the ordering, right? Like it's your business. You need to understand those things. But at the same time, I'm not naive in the sense that 80% of our customers still have full-time jobs or in some capacity. Maybe they're service-based photographers and they're trying to sell their fine art. So I get it. You need to be able to have the ability. If you don't have the time to do the marketing and you have the resources, you need a la carte things that you can jump off the shelf. Hey guys, I need my Instagram profile tuned up. I need my Facebook page tuned up. I need to help with a sales campaign. You need to be able to do that sometimes. In addition to things like we'll completely build your website for you. You don't want to do that. You hate building websites. Your fears in life, in order, are death, taxes, and building another website. I get that. I get that, right? So you can drop your images in a folder, tell us to build the site, we'll build the site for you, okay? We'll manage your Facebook ads, okay? We will manage all of your social posting. And again, it goes back to the top premise. Like our job is to create successful customers. And so we looked at it 6 months ago and it's like, we need to have an agency. And then some people are like, well, I want to do it myself. Fantastic. Our job is to have the best DIY product, do it yourself, learn, come on the sessions, and then also have an agency where you can pay. And again, it's a la carte or it's, up to almost full service. And the amazing thing about it is, I've been doing marketing a long time, right? What do all marketers love? A case study. Oh, we love a case study, right? With the sexy data about this huge win, and we publish it on social media and we use it for lead generation. So totally did that all the time. Okay, guilty. And if you lose, you don't publish it, right? You wait till you hit a winner and do all that. But it used to be, I would go and run a case study with a customer, and I'd have limited bandwidth to do that, and then we would build the playbooks. Well, guess what I have now? I've got agency staff. I've got one guy that all he does all day long is spruce up Instagram pages for artists and photographers. He did 65 of them last week, or probably 65 last month. So imagine the learnings that we're getting. What happens is the learnings are going right back into the playbooks, and then they're coming onto the Zoom sessions and they're teaching, and we've got a little flywheel going on, right? We've got a little artist and photographer education flywheel. So it doesn't matter if you ever order a single solitary service from the agency, and we don't even care if the agency ever makes any money, in all honesty, because all it does is just improves the product, makes more successful customers, and helps us grow. So we really, at the end of the day, are fundamentally a business that can be thought of as a rowboat, right? It takes our oar, your oar. We jump in the boat in the same time, and if we can get that thing rowing in the same direction, the faster we can get that going, the better everybody does. So that's Art Storefronts in a nutshell. That's my presentation. All right. So that's sort of who we are, what we do at a very high level. We can certainly get into any questions you guys might have about, pricing or the printing or any of the rest that has to do with the software. Quickly, I'll say in terms of updates, one of the cool things that we've been on recently. So in the video, I alluded to the fact that, one of the What's sort of becoming the secret sauce of the company are the weekly Zooms that we have our customers, right? You sign up, you pay for these, and you get them nonstop for the remainder of your relationship with us, however long that goes. And it started out one big session, and we put everyone in and talk about the thing, the digital marketing thing, talk about the upcoming sale, bring some people on to talk, and then open it up for Q&A. And they started going like 3 and 4 hours. It just got crazy, right? Like it's like one of the most draining things you can do. So then we broke them into 3 different stages, right? So there's until you sold $2,000 directly from your website, doesn't matter what you came in on, or if you sold hundreds of thousands of dollars, we put you in that group. Then once you graduate from that group, we put you in the middle group. And then the middle group goes up to another higher revenue threshold that we don't publish. That's pretty high. And then we have like the advanced group. And it used to be all taught by us, like art storefront staff, members of my marketing team, myself. And now we're getting to a point where I think we're just going to become the Netflix of art, photography, business, and marketing. We're starting to have sessions on everything. We're empowering our customers to teach them. We had people that are teaching sessions on limited editions. We had people that are teaching sessions on how to handle accounting for an art or photography business. We had people teaching sessions on pricing, on how to rock Instagram, on how to work on some of our various different marketing techniques. We're doing deep dives on Facebook ads, and we're rapidly turning into a company that is actually like it's a university, but it's also just a retail store. It's a retail store. Instead of being in your town on Main Street, it's on Main Street of the internet. You can pop in, and there's multiple video sessions a day, every day, 6 days a week. You can talk to people, do Q&A, learn about one particular subject or not. If you miss any of the sessions, we email them after the fact. But, you know, I said it in the video. I know conclusively that every single solitary person in this Zoom session has a problem with their marketing. They need to get better at it. They need to do it more consistently. They're looking to reach the next level. Whatever it is, the problem is not the art. It's not the talent. It is marketing, full stop. It is getting enough attention such that you can sustain enough sales to actually have a business. So we realize that that's the biggest problem. It's not a website problem. It's not a niche selection problem. It's not a pricing problem. It's a marketing problem, straight up. There's a whole lot of other smaller problems that can't even get solved until you have enough eyeballs on your work to actually tell you whether or not you're on the right track, or you need to pivot into some new styles and some new ideas. So that's sort of the biggest problem. You know, if there's one way to sum up the starving artist problem, it is artists and photographers by nature suck at marketing. That's it, full stop. So, you know, if you ask me what we did without like a snazzy tagline, it's like we teach artists and photographers to grow a business and get enough attention to do so. Marketing. I mean, that's it. That's really it at the end of the day. Um, so I'll open it up at this point to Q&A. A whole bunch of different ways to do it. One, at the bottom of the Zoom window is like a participants button, and you can click that button, and there's a way to digitally raise your hand. If you look in like the little participants queue, you can see Philip's got his up already. I tend to prioritize the hands that are raised in here. But if you want to ask a question in chat, I will definitely get to the questions in chat too. If you're watching on any of the socials, I see all of those comments, and so I will get to those as well. If you guys are being shy, I'm not above harassment. I will start harassing you guys. Floor questions. It's all fair game on a Friday. So I'm going to go ahead and start with Philip, then I'll get to Bonnie, and then anyone else can raise their hands from there. So Philip, you're up first. You'll need to turn your mic off, bottom left-hand corner. I'll tell you when you get it. Yep, gotcha. Philip, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, what's your question?
I was. I did try to call you a couple times, but you didn't answer.
Yeah,
But
well, we don't have a active phone line. Like since COVID happened, the office shut down. So all we do is we have a voicemail.
but um, but I think I understand. All I have to do is create a really good website for my art and comic books, and then advertise it on social media. But I know how to go Facebook Live, but I don't know how to do it live on Instagram.
Oh, the Instagram is the easiest one. I can show you how to do that in 2 seconds. And what's up? Welcome back again, by the way. So watch this, Philip. I want you to watch the screen. I want everyone to watch the screen because everyone likes to make it so complicated. How do I go live on Instagram? Literally press this button, which is your story. Go to live, press that button, and you're now live on Instagram. That's simple. How's it going, Instagram? I'm showing Philip how to get live on Instagram. That is the live of the live of the live, and that's my green screen. Um, that's simple, Philip. It's really, really easy. And in today's marketing age too, we all have to learn the lesson. Like, you always want to ask how you do something. There is nothing more effective to learning how to do something in today's day and age than Googling. Google has
I
the answer to just about every question. So a lot of
I
times
I
I do that.
kind of meant how to do live on my laptop.
Yep, you can do that too. You just go right to your Facebook page, hit the go live button. You obviously can't do it on Instagram. Instagram only lets you go live on the phone. But with your laptop, you can just go right to your Facebook page. There's a little camera icon. You hit it, and you're live.
I meant how to go live on Instagram. Do you know?
Yeah, so Instagram is only on the phone. So if you're trying to do both at the same time, I would use your laptop to go live on Facebook, and I would use your phone to go live on Instagram. You get like a cheap little stand, anything. You can, stand it up against anything. I've got this little guy, which is super handy. Just sits there like that, and you aim it, and off you go. That's it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Philip. Okay, Bonnie, you are up next. Go ahead, Bonnie.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
This might not be the right platform to ask this question. I had a 5-minute call with Matt yesterday.
Okay.
I'm not currently a member of Art Storefront,
Okay.
but I'm trying to get more information on pricing.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of wondering if you can. He said something about $1,000 fee up front to join, and then somewhere between $44 to $59
Yeah.
a month is
Yeah. So
the ongoing membership fee.
yeah.
I'm just trying to get more information because I know that prices are going to change and go up tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
if you can.
Yeah. So I'll tell you a couple of
Go
things.
ahead.
Like the easiest way to think about it is like, in how we actually do things, why we do things. It's like, and I think this is important. And I don't talk about it in my demo video, but how many different website solutions are there out there? A lot, right? How do they all work? You can maybe get a three free months or 6 free months, and then they charge you a monthly fee. Every website company does that. Well, why do none of them work? None of them work because no one has a website problem by and large. Unless you have a ton of social followers, a big email list, you're driving a ton of traffic to your website, then okay, fine, you have a website problem. But the website alone is not enough, right? And so that's what we figured out. And so we could try to be a website company and just say, hey, we're going to charge you $29, $39, $49 a month like anyone. No contract, no nothing, just cancel at any time, right? We contemplated that model early on. The reason it doesn't work is, again, no one has a website problem. And what artists and photographers do is they say, this is going to be my year. I'm finally ready to get going. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on my marketing for 2 months and see how it goes. And then they work on it for 2 months and they don't get the results that they want and they quit. So what we realized is that we have to provide the education. So the way that we charge the $1,000 down essentially is your tuition to get into the university for life. The university never closes. There's no graduates because the learning never stops. So the $1,000 gets you into the university, which is essentially all of our teaching, everything legacy going back, all the playbooks, all the everything, and all of it going forward. Done. And then you have a normal monthly website fee. You can upgrade or downgrade at any point in time to get the additional features. That's not a problem at all. So, and you never pay the $1,000 again. You're just, after you pay that, you're in, you get the teaching, you have access to all our teachers. It's how we pay for all our teaching and teachers. And then you are just on a monthly fee like any other website company. And what we find as a result of it is, in the $1,000 down is the minimum plan. The higher plans are like 3 years, 4 years, and 5 years, some of them. And there's a lot of people that sign up for the 5 years because they realize they've had an entire career of bouncing around from one marketplace to the next marketplace to one website to another website, and they've never taken the marketing seriously, right? Well, when you make like a 3 or a 4 or a 5 year investment, you're essentially burning the boat, right? You are getting on that boat on one side of the river, going to the other side of the river and burning it. You're not going to be like, well, I'm going to try this for a couple of months, and if it doesn't work out, I'll do something else, i.e. never market again, right? No, you are burning the boat. And like the commitment level that comes with that is just, it's the best thing you could ever possibly have, because you're in your mind, you're like, okay, I just gave these yahoos a couple $1,000. There is no way I'm quitting, right? Like you are at least going to stay at it, for a couple of years of solid, consistent marketing, which is the only way a business ever becomes successful. So that's how it works. So you can get in on the lowest plan, and like early on, your website is not going to have a ton of traffic. You don't need 1,000 different bells and whistles and features and everything else. You need to work on your marketing for like a year consistently straight. We teach you how to do that. bit by bit, your business starts growing. If after a year, if you limped it on the low plan, after a year, you're like, wait a minute, I made 2,500 sales last year, right? Like I'd probably need these additional features. Then it will all pencil out. But when you have no traffic, it doesn't, right? Like, it's like, oh, do you need the restaurant that seats 60? No, you don't. You need the restaurant that seats 10 and keep it full all the time and a line out the door. Then you need the 60. So that's kind of how I look at it.
Okay, thank you so much. May I ask one other quick question?
Of course.
Does your website, as far as selling original artwork, provide kind of like help with shipping, or like the shipping labels?
Oh,
or
I wish we
Sorry.
had some sort of
Okay.
like magical elf fairy that could go and deal with the original shipping, because it's a pain in the butt. There's no two ways about it. The good
Yeah,
news is
it is.
it's the least of your problems. The hard problem, selling that original. After you sell it,
Okay.
everything else becomes pretty easy. But what we do is we have a ton of people that are doing it all the time in every country and shipping to every other country. So the advice we have is, extremely poignant. So you could go right into, like, we have a private Facebook group that all our members are in, and it's like, get the order, say where you are. Guys, I'm in Cheyenne, Wyoming. I need to ship something to New York. What is the best way to do this? Where should I get this? Where should I get that? What should I order to ship it? And you'll get instantaneous help. Like, do this, like multiple opinion help. It's pretty solid. So I know the shipping on the original is a bit of a pain in the butt, but you know what? There's a lot of ups of being an artist. The shipping originals is one of the downs. It just is. There's no getting away from it.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Bonnie. Okay, next up is Aubrey. Go ahead, Aubrey. And remember, you gotta unmute your mic, Aubrey. Bottom left-hand corner. I'll let you know when you get it. Yeah, got it.
Talk a little bit more about the features, if you could.
Yeah, I mean, it's a couple of things that I say about features. Like, and I'll say this as an extremely cynical marketer, right? What every artist and photographer thinks, and I say this as someone that's been attempting to hawk art selling software for 5 years now, with every weapon imaginable, from content marketing to podcasts to these Zoom sessions to Facebook ads and everything in between. What artists and photographers out there, okay, that are looking to grow their business, the problem in their head they think they have is a website. It's not the problem. The problem you have is a marketing problem, right? So I'm saying that to say that because it's important. Now, put yourself in my shoes and say, let's just assume, hopefully no one on this call knows me, that you're a member who prides himself in having integrity and being honest with people, right? As a marketer, I realize I need to generate leads for this business. And so what sucks about that is that I could put 10 ads up for various different website features, right? Like our sizzliest, most sexy, incredible looking website features. And those ads will get 10 times the amount of click through. The clicks will be cheaper and I'll get more leads than if I talk about the marketing problem, because no one thinks they have that as the problem, right? Everyone in their mind thinks, like, if I take my art business and I move it off this website where I'm selling nothing right now and I go and put it on the best website that there is, boom, it's like flipping a light switch. Fish are going to jump in the boat, and nothing could be further from the truth. Shopify, which is, if you're aware of Shopify, big e-commerce company based in Canada. It's actually the biggest company in the entire country of Canada in terms of market cap. They have a stat out there that says 99% of Shopify store owners fail, and they have hundreds of thousands of customers. And it's not a knock on their software, which is really, really good. It's a knock on the fact that a website is not enough. A website does not make a business. It does not make a viable business. That being said, we have a lot of features. It's why we do the demo process. It's why, because the whole demo process goes like an hour and 15 minutes, right? And what you find as an e-commerce person trying to sell software trying to sell art online is, art is like, and I alluded to it in the video, right? Like buying art is an insanely visual process, right? It's an insanely visual. And so I use the basketball analogy all the time. Like, the reason our software is better than everyone else's because we have more players on the court than anyone else does, right? And the way that the features work, everyone thinks it's like, if I just have that one feature, like when we came out with the wall preview, we were the first one to have that, where your art on a wall, they can change the various different settings, right? Everyone in their mind thinks like, ooh, if I just get that, I'll have it. Or everyone in their mind thinks, ooh, if I could just do a virtual art show on my website, I'll have it. Or, the live preview with AR or any of the other features. It's not how it works. How it works is how many players you have on one side of the basketball court. And when you have somebody throw the ball in from the side after a foul, and then it goes to the center, and then it goes to the forward, then it goes to the guard, and then it comes back to the center, and then it goes to the forward, and then the guard shoots and scores. Who gets credit for that, right? It wasn't the one player. Everyone had a hand in it, right? So it's all about how many features you have individually to remove as much friction from the buying process as possible. And in that capacity, we don't have any competition. We don't have any competition because we don't really have anyone that just focuses in selling wall art and art and photography. Now, we're also just an e-commerce site. I mean, we have merchandise and a whole bunch of other products in the stores that people are selling now too. So you have all the normal features, but we have more features than you could possibly imagine. But they only start really truly coming to bear when you have a lot of people in the store, right? It's like you could have, use the restaurant analogy all the time. You could have the best restaurant, the decor flawless, beautiful, the views, the plants inside, everything. But your store is in the middle of Death Valley in summertime. Nobody's coming in. Nobody's coming in. So none of those features mean a damn thing, right? Aubrey, like you have to have the traffic coming in, which is why that's the most important. But I mean, I don't know. I sort of danced around the issue and gave you a long wound up answer. Like what features were you curious about in terms of basis for comparison or anything else? You'll have to unmute again. You look like you're muted again.
So I understand the wall feature and all that. What I'm looking for is what else do you have? And I know I like your analogy because I'm a basketball fan, but
Yeah,
just
me too.
tell me a little bit more about now. Is this is there the possibility of finding out more about that aspect of it in the actual demo?
Oh yeah, they show you every single solitary feature we have just about. But I'll give you, and literally when I say we have hundreds, of individual features, some big, some small. I'll give you the one that we don't ever really talk about because it usually it it's complicated, so it's hard to understand. But let's say we have a feature called Art Buyer AI. Okay, and the easiest way to think of it is, everyone's been into an Apple store, right? Well, if your website is the Apple Store, Art Buyer AI is a little video camera in the upper corner of the store, okay, that follows people around the entire time that they're in there. And so if I go to your store, Aubrey, and I look at, I'm going to keep it on the Apple Store. If I go into the Apple Store and I look at a iPhone, and then I look at an iPad, and then I look at a MacBook Air, and then I buy the iPhone and I leave, our system registers that I did all of those things. And it instantaneously pops up an email, okay, that's already been populated with text. And it says, "Hey, Patrick, thanks for coming to my store and ordering the iPhone. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions whatsoever about that iPhone or want to talk, you can just reply to this email and I'll get back to you." One more thing before I go. I noticed that you were checking out the MacBook Air and then also the iPad. I just want to let you know that we have a first-time customer discount in which you get a special extra percentage off if you wanted to buy those other two items. So if that's the case, just let me know and we can talk about it. And then you can change any of that email text or you can hit send, right? We have that feature. We don't ever talk about that feature. Does it for you automatically. Pops up every single solitary time. Hey, somebody just put this into their cart and they didn't check out. You know who they are. Do you want to send them an email? Yes or no? So we've got that feature, right? Like, yeah, there's the wall preview feature. Yeah, there's the media types. Yeah, there's the merchandise videos or send a product to a friend. Like we have a lot. We have a myriad. You muted again, Aubrey. You muted. Oh, I might have to unmute again. Hold on. Go ahead, hit it again. It'll work this time. Yep.
Okay. Well, I guess at this point, what I'm hoping is that I can get a more comprehensive picture of all that you offer within, I guess, your hour and a half demo.
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right.
And they'll walk you through all of it. As a final, Aubrey, how are you going about selling your art now?
Oh, I'm basically just starting. I just kind of like semi-retired from my actual 40-something year job.
Well, congrats on that, man.
I've
Huge
been
congrats.
painting for years. Thank you. I've been painting for years, but basically I've given away more art than I've sold.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Now it's time to think about selling it.
Absolutely. And the trick of it is that step one on that process is you have to validate what you're creating will sell. And what do I mean by validate? You need to sell Aubrey's art to people not named mom, dad, brother, sister, friend, girlfriend, wife, because they'll do anything for you. They'll buy anything, right? You got to sell it to strangers. And once you've done that a few times, you know that your art is validated. You have a product that the market actually wants, and then it's just a game of active marketing and growing your following, and that's what we teach all year long. Okay, thanks, Aubrey. And do you know who used the basketball analogy originally? Google, and I stole it from them. But it's a great way to think of it. It's like, who gets credit, right? Who gets credit for that sale? Which feature gets credit when every single solitary player on the field touched the ball and then one guy shot? And it's like, that makes the visual so easy for me thinking about like attribution, digital attribution analytics. They call it assisted conversions. Google does. But anyway, Larry, you're up next. Go ahead.
Hey, Patrick. All right. So the website building, very similar to some of the art stores that I've seen.
Mhm.
How does the SEO system work on your platform?
Same as all the others, in which you can do, you know, want to put in a custom page title, want to put in a custom meta tag, want to select the image that's going to show on social when it gets shared. You can do all that. But okay, we have automatic SEO as well, which we recommend everyone turns on. And what does that mean for every single solitary product page, right? So it doesn't do your home page, or it doesn't do about you or contact, like the basic pages, the menu pages. But it'll do it for every single solitary product image that you have. And it will take the title, and it will take for the meta description. We keep an eye on what sells in terms of art online, in terms of how they're referencing the language, like Google Shopping, some of the various other sites. And we've auto-generated text that we think's effective and compelling. And so you don't have to do anything. You can turn it on and not touch it, not have to SEO a single solitary piece, 100% automated. And there's a reason for that too, is, SEO is one of the biggest scams that exist in, today's day and age, full stop, right? Like I tell you I have 4,800 customers and I get to see their data. I don't think we have a single solitary one that's making SEO a significantly profitable endeavor, meaning I don't know a single solitary one that is getting in excess of 25 orders a month from organic traffic off of any of the search engines. And there's a number of reasons for that. One, everyone is sold the premise that, and everyone has like a cousin who knows somebody in Poughkeepsie or somewhere else that offers SEO services, and you give them $2,500 and we're going to get you listed on these 6 directories. And guess what? Fish are going to start jumping in your boat. It's bullshit. Never happens. Does not happen, full stop. SEO is like any other marketing technique. Yes, at the very highest level, your ticket to even play the SEO game is you need to have your pages properly set up, your products properly set up, such that Google knows how to display them in the search engine result page. But at that point, the SEO work just begins. If you want to take SEO seriously, you have to generate a ton of links to your site. That takes incremental day in, week out work to get people to link back to your site, such that you might actually continue to go up in the rankings to actually get that search engine traffic. So unless you're an artist or photographer that's had a website for a long time, you got in 15, 20 years ago, and you've had the same site the entire time, and so you are ranked highly for keywords where people are actually buying art, then there's no arbitrage in SEO left anymore. It is not worth spending even 10 seconds on. You set the site up, you set the page titles and the descriptions for your main pages, home, about, contact, FAQ pages. Then you just automatically set all the rest of it, and you go and spend time where there is ROI left, which is marketing on Facebook and Instagram, growing an email list, and having sales when the time is right. So, Larry, if you and I both started from scratch right now, and you're like, I'm going to make it in SEO, I'm going to be like, good luck with that, Larry. I'm going to make it using Facebook and Instagram, and ready, go. And we check in once a year, I'll destroy you. I'll destroy you, because SEO is just that much harder, unless that's your trade, and that's what you do.
Oh, that's awesome. So it optimizes what the artist is putting out, and you guys do all of that.
100%. Yep. You don't touch anything. The machine does it all. And again, like, I go back to the very top of my premise, or the very top thing that I said, like, our job is to make successful artists and photographers, selfishly so. The more successful our customer base is, we measure that, by the way, with this thing called GMV, gross merchandise volume. Stated another way, the sum total of everything that our customers sell on their websites. The more that goes up, the more our business grows. And so we are in a position where, rather than just hawking you some software and giving you some support and say, have at it, The more successful you are, the more successful we are. So we take a very active role in how you run your business and how you do your marketing. And again, no one is leveraging SEO to sell a tremendous amount of art. Not happening. The arbitrage is not there. It's just not there. So if that's the case, why not just completely take it off your plate? It's not worth doing, not worth even spending a minute. And so we wrote that part of the software. Yet another feature for you, Aubrey. No SEO for Aubrey, but yet another feature. So we just wrote that part of the software to take care of it. And I think, aside from people that came on board before that feature was live, no one does any SEO with us at all, period. Not worth it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Just say no to SEO. But it's one less thing to worry about, right? Like if it worked, we'd be advocating for it and we'd be saying like, okay, guys, you definitely got to do this. You got to get going on it right away, right? All right, Sherry in the chat is saying, what is the probability of success using your platform when I'm a totally unknown artist? You can't ask those questions, Sherry. Like the probability of you being successful is multivariate. What niche are you in? What subject material? What are your price points? How many different items you're going to have in your store? Do you intend to actually work on your marketing? And so we get variants of this question a whole lot of times, like, what percentage of your artists are successful in the first year? Or another variation, I call them crystal ball questions. And I'm not knocking you for asking it, Sherry, don't misunderstand, but it's a crystal ball question. What is the best-selling media type? If I just know what the best-selling media type is and I add it to my store, I'll start selling. Or what is the most popular size? Or what is the most popular price point? If I just know those things, my stuff will start selling. You cannot compare your beginning to someone else's middle to someone else's end. We had people that come aboard and kill it in the first year. We had people that struggle for 2 years before their business takes off and starts growing. We have every combination in between, and there's no rhyme or reason to it most times. Everyone has weird set of nuanced circumstances that are unique to them, unique to the media types that they do, and they're all going to grow differently. And so, there's no guarantees about anything about how it's going to go. You can't compare yourself to anyone else, and it ends up being a poisonous mindset, because instead of focusing on the things that are important, you're trying to like establish benchmarks for yourself that you might meet or not meet based on nonsense, right? Like you have to see whether or not your art will sell to people that you don't know, to strangers. Once you've done that, you're in a situation where you have a product the market wants, right? Like, I always use the restaurant examples because I love them. If you open the restaurant and you get 1 or 2 or 3 customers in and then no one ever comes back, guess what? You have crappy food. You don't have a marketing problem. You need to change. Okay? But once you open the restaurant, you sell some of your dishes, people are like, that was really good, I'm going to come back. At that point in time, you do not have do I have a good product? Which, by the way, is not even a condemnation about whether or not you're a good artist or a photographer. It's straight up only, what you have, does the market want it? If they don't, it's okay to try some various different things until you figure it out. No one's saying you're a crappy artist. No one's saying you're a crappy photographer. All the market is telling you is whatever you're producing right now at this moment is not something that we want. So once you pass that threshold, you do have something that the market wants. Then it just becomes a game of marketing. It becomes a game of putting in the work to grow the business. It is a game of pressure over time, as long as you stay focused on what's important. So that's what I would say. So yeah, and I see your other comments too. Like, look, we put out an incredible amount of really, really good content that is completely free that you can follow when you can't afford it or you're not there yet and you're trying to figure it out. And we give away the store for the most part, because we know almost no one is actually going to take the advice, right? They're just not going to take the advice. So that's just how it goes. Martina's asking, do you help with branding? Yes, you're a visual artist. I create to market myself in all these ways, basically attract attention by being out there. Any recommendations? Yeah. Branding is such an interesting thing, right? Like I love branding. I'm fascinated by branding. I've seen every single solitary aspect of doing it, right? Like don't worry about branding at all. Just launch, figure it out, to $35,000 branding packages where you get a lovely book afterwards. It's got 65 pages in it that tells you every font size, everything imaginable. What everyone tends to do is they get hung up on the branding side of things, okay? And they think like, I'll just get started when I get everything branded and everything clean and everything looking great, and they help me with my tagline and they help me with my design. And the problem is that you're doing that with a firm, or you're doing that in your own head in a vacuum without getting any feedback. And you'll never know whether what you've done is successful or not successful until you start getting some feedback. So when it comes to branding, early on, you don't worry about it in the slightest. You just do you, be you, start marketing all of your various different products, see what sells, see what resonates, and based upon what does sell, what does resonate, that's going to end up being your brand. And a lot of times it's not what you think it's going to be. And, you know, the most important thing is that you get the validation that can only come from the transactions that happen when you take your art, when you take your photography to market. So I would not worry about your branding in the slightest. I would worry about your marketing. I would get going on that. And a lot of times the crowd will tell you what your brand is, what its makeup is. So that's what I would say. All right, Boris is asking me, okay, is getting my photos licensed by Getty and selling a handful of them qualified as validation? Could be. I mean, I'm not sure what side of Getty that you've got. I'm going to unmute you, Boris, so that you can tell me because I've got follow-up questions. And you'll have to hit the mic in the bottom left-hand corner, Boris, and I'll let you know when you get it. Yeah, got it. So when
Yes,
are
got
you
it.
the stuff that you're giving to Getty? What is the nature of it? Is it like landscape stuff
So
or is it like
no,
celebrity
it's a
stuff?
yeah. There's a follow-up question below there. It's wildlife photography, mostly birds.
Okay.
So I've used the 500px site. Share a bunch of images there,
Mm-hmm.
like upwards of thousands.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Getty picks up the licensing, and I got a couple, maybe handful, maybe two handful
Mm-hmm.
worth of really small sales, like
Yeah.
cents, maybe dollar or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm just wondering whether A, is that a validation enough, and B, is wildlife photography sells at all on in some of your stores?
It does. It's hit or miss. One guy I can tell you who's a customer, a good friend of mine, is a wildlife photographer, actually, famous one, actually. His name's Tim Lehman. April, will you get a link to Tim's? Oh, it's just timlehman.com. So you can check him out. He's gnarly, actually. He's like full blown Planet Earth, BBC, constantly going to Papua New Guinea to shoot the birds of paradise and such. Got 1 million Instagram followers. He's crazy. So he sells quite well, but I realize that that's like, he's sort of a
A little
unicorn.
bit of a niche.
Yeah, he's a unicorn of sorts. No, it does not qualify as validation. The problem with wildlife photography potentially is, there's 3,000 shots of that same bird that you have, then you're in a heavily competitive niche, right? Now that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not validated. You probably have some really good photos and photos that have already sold. The problem is that when you're attempting to compete in a marketplace where there's 3,000 different photos of yours, how the heck is yours going to stand out, right? So if I was doing the wildlife niche, one, and don't take this as cynically, because I don't care if you have your website with us or not, but I would spend way more time attempting to build and grow my own website than I would being reliant on the marketplaces where you're subject to the hemming and the hawing of the algorithm. And, one day you're on page 1, the next day you're on page 60, and you're not getting any traction at all. So you can do well with wildlife photography. Early on, if you have the same picture that everyone else does, you need to learn to specialize. This is just kind of a big picture thought. You need to learn to specialize in something that you can rock. Let me give you an example. Everyone's got pictures of Yellowstone, right? But there's someone else that lives 1.5 miles from Yellowstone and can get into the park 265 days a year when, there's this season or that season. Who stands the better chance of selling Yellowstone photos? It's him, right? Because he's got a competitive advantage to get in there, him or her. So I would say, niche selection within the wildlife niche is important. But again, I don't feel like you've given validation a fair shot when you've had your image up with 3,000 other images, right? It's not really fair, right? Like pre-COVID, pre-pandemic, I would say, look, you need to get your photos printed out on the 5 different media types, and you need to go get a booth at a farmer's market or an art fair or a show, sit in that booth for 8 hours a day and see what you sell, right? That's the easiest way to get validated and figure out whether or not your art will sell, because you're having real face-to-face interactions with real people. You're saying, hey, are you interested in this? Is no one interested in it at all? Okay, that's indicative that you've got an issue. Or are people super interested, and do they potentially buy? Bit of a problem in the world that we're living in right now. So if you've got a decent social following at all, we really are huge fans of the live art show. And we can send you some examples of that. You don't have to put it in the chat, April. We'll just put it in the show notes. I'm going to send you some examples, Doris, of what a live art show looks like, and how it all goes down. And you can get your work. And now I'm going to have to This is the part of the call where I get into my merchandising spiel. So hold on, I'm going to go grab a stack of prints. So let's assume, Boris, you take what you think should be your best sellers, right? You don't have a ton of data on what part of your work sells or doesn't sell, or what part of your work sells or doesn't sell best. So you're going to pick your 5 to 7, let's just say best sellers, what you think should be your best sellers, and you're going to get them printed out on the 5 different media types. And let me just show, for example, I like wood. Wood is sort of an up and comer. People are really kind of digging it. It's thick. It's ready to hang on the wall. It looks beautiful. Important one. You need to pick a fine art paper. My green screen is going to screw this up, so it's going to make it look a little circusy. But this is, I think, a textured fine art paper. You could use a watercolor paper. This is metal. It's sort of the hottest new kid on the block. Ready to hang. Doesn't need a frame. The quality on these things are insane. My web camera will focus. You can zoom in, zoom out, and show it. Acrylic, also fantastic medium. Comes ready to hang, no frame necessary. And then you've got your old tried and true gallery wrapped canvas, right? Mirrored edges and everything else. And what you do is you get the work all printed out. You notice how small these all are? That entire order that I just showed that I went through is like less than $100, that you could have all of your various different photos on the media types, and you can just go turn Facebook on and say, all right, guys, it's Doris. I'm starting my photo business. I picked 7 of my best sellers, and I'm having a blowout sale to get my business launched. You know, you guys are on Zoom calls all the time. Your backgrounds look terrible. You need to spruce these things up. I'm here for you. Boris is here for you. I'm going to sort you out. So let me just show you some of my best work, and you can send me a DM on Facebook or on Instagram if you want to do the stream there, and let me know what you guys think and go through and talk about each one. So it was the middle of summer on the beautiful Amalfi Coast in Italy, and I woke up at 5 a.m. And set my tripod up to get the photo of this beautiful church, which is located in Positano. Fun fact about Positano, do you know that no one is allowed to repaint their house any color in any of these photos? The city council sets the color of exactly what these houses look like, and they're never allowed to change because they don't want to lose the charm of the town. Now, a metal print like this normally goes for $450 in stores, but because I am trying to get my business started today, I'm willing to let it go for $225. So anyone interested? Send me a DM on Facebook. Take Venmo, PayPal. You can send me a check, messenger pigeon, whatever, right? So you show your work like that. You talk about it. You say, I'm having a sale, and you try to get some validation. Again, is it easier to set up a booth and have face-to-face conversations? Yes. But when the pandemic gives you lemons, you have to make the proverbial lemonade.
Perfect. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Just a super quick follow-up.
Yeah, no problem.
Can I hope for an honest validation if I request a 1.5 hour?
No.
Or is it not enough still?
No. The issue is that the only
some
thing,
idea at least from someone.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that can give you validation is when this comes out of the wallet and
Right.
it slides.
Right.
No one else. Do not let anyone else tell you. There is no button on the ATM machine when I last visited for I got into a juried show. Okay, no one cares. No button on the ATM machine. I get so many likes and comments and shares on Facebook. Again, no button on the ATM for that one. People tell me my work is great all the time. No button on the ATM machine for that one. You can't drive down to the ATM machine and say, people tell me my work is great all the time. You have to sell it. You have to sell it. And you don't know until you don't know what you don't know until you know, right? So that's it. And you got to do it as quickly as possible, right? You got to do it as quickly as possible because you want to find out if you're on the right track or not. You very well may be, you may not. You just, no one, the point is that, you know, no one can tell you except for the transaction taking place. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Boris. Good question. Okay. He was going to send me a list of artists you represent. I cannot find the email. Can you please send it? Yeah, we can send you some. Martina, I'm assuming you just want to look at some other websites. That's easy enough. There was another question. So Boris was on the wildlife photography, Getty Images. Martina's talking about branding. Yeah, okay. You guys are shy today. Any of the rest of yous? I can only really poke and prod the ones that have the cameras on, and most of you guys have already asked questions. What about you, Francisco? Preguntas? No? Francisco's shy. Hey, okay, Martina's got some questions. Francisco. My first name is Francis. Realistically, I don't ever go by it because it was my dad, but the fact that I can't say Francisco means, what's wrong with me? Okay, you're unmuted, Martina. Go ahead.
Hey,
Hey.
yeah, cool. Yeah, so bit of a thing. I just sent this thing where I'm a bit of a comedian, performer, and visual artist.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, and I want to just get some feedback from you, is if I turn up my comedian performer, is that a good mix to bring in, like with this art sale that you're just saying, I'm wearing my wig and I'm selling this thing and I'm
Yes,
making
100%, 100%, yes, 100%, yes. Like everybody gets wrapped up. Everybody gets wrapped up with, this is like a variant of like, I do canvas prints or canvas originals that are big and beautiful, and then I also take photographs, and you get all stressed out about it. Like, you don't know what you don't know. You need to take all of these products to market, same as everyone else, and see how it goes. The fact that you have the performance art background and you can do that whilst selling your wares will make it hilarious and will give you a massive leg up. Like, I'm prepared to watch that. Yeah, I think you'll do incredibly well.
Okay, cool. Because I think this would give me, I was in a bank apprenticeship as a teenager, and I feel like so suppressed. Not now. I mean, I have a really great life, but I feel like this could be like a really great, my own little mini TV show.
Absolutely.
On Instagram and Facebook.
No, absolutely.
Where I just like pump it up and have a lot of fun.
And it's insanely effective. Live video is completely changing everything right now. Everything, for every single solitary niche imaginable, and it's absolutely fantastic. Like, it's weird, right? Because you go through these cycles in life where, okay, video on the internet, nothing new there. Been around for a long time, right? But as a result of this pandemic, it's like accelerated everything, and it's like a whole bunch of different things converging at once. Cell phones getting faster and faster and faster. The cameras on the cell phones getting better and better and better. The mics on the cell phones getting better and better and better. People's bandwidth getting higher and higher and higher. And then Zoom comes in, and then all of a sudden we're watching our television shows at night, and the stars that are normally have in studio and the makeup and everything else are sitting there with like, a $20 Apple AirPod setup hanging down, and they're doing live broadcasts, right? Like, no one cares anymore. You don't need hair and makeup and all the rest of it. You can turn the thing on and talk to the world. And if you have a larger following, you can do just about anything. You can just sell just about anything. And, it infuriates me. I don't have anything against the Chinese people. Okay. I love the Chinese people. I have some things against that Chinese government, but China is leading us on certain things. And one of them is this concept of video selling, video commerce. And they're sort of ahead of the curve on us on this one, but it is a huge deal in China right now, an absolutely huge deal. And I honestly think that hopefully this freaking dumpster fire of a situation we're in now is going to go away soon. We're going to get back to normal, but people are going to be gun shy for a while, right? So more and more businesses need to figure out what is the best way I can communicate with my customers. And my guess is that just about every store, maybe it takes 5 or 6 years for this to happen, but every store you're going to be able to pop into virtually like this, just like we're having a conversation here, ask your questions, get sorted out. If it's a clothing store, they'll start showing you here, they're showing you here. Do you want this one? Do you want this one? I want that one. I want that one. Send it to me, right? Like, every single solitary merchant can do this now. And what is so democratizing about it is you just don't need any middlemen, right? There's no middleman whatsoever. And I use this example. There's a huge venture capital firm that, has all the big investments. It's Andreessen Horowitz, whatever. They have this blog and they've been writing about video for a long time. And one of the examples that they used was an apple farmer that had a bunch of orchards somewhere in China. And what he used to do, tend to his farm all year long. The trucks would come to pick his apples up. The trucks would go rolling down the road to the distribution center. The distribution center would hold them, ship them out to all the supermarkets. Guy started turning his camera on his phone and walking through his orchards and talking about what was going on in his orchards. This variety, that variety, the roots, the flowers, what this sign means, what that sign means. And he got a huge following. And then he just started selling all of his apples in boxes directly to his customer. That's it. Right? So here he was reliant on this distribution system, reliant on the supermarkets, which then The fruit didn't show up as fresh as it does when it gets shipped from him. So it was a suboptimal experience for customers. And now this guy's selling 100% of his fruit, and he's selling it for full retail price rather than the middleman, right? And so there's all these various different examples of it. And, you know, I'm very passionate about my marketing, okay? I hate the guru term. I'm not a damn guru, okay? I practice what I preach. Since March, my marketing team, myself, have been live 5 to 6 days a week. Right now, as a business, Art Storefronts, if you sum up the sum total of Zoom sessions, of live sessions like this session as we speak is live on 2 YouTube channels, is live on Twitter, is live on Facebook. We are moving to being live at least 9 to 5, 6 days a week. And I practice what I preach. Like, I'm doing this day in and day out because it is the most effective way to get anything done right now. It's crazy.
Gotcha.
And it's not going to change.
Question.
Yeah.
So is that what you would teach us too? Like I would start I
All
could
day.
start a YouTube
I teach it
channel
all
and
day.
be live and
Yes.
send an email. Hey, I'm going to do some live painting
Yes.
today. I'm going to
Yes.
I'm going to get crazy out here, so come and join the party. Or
we teach you what to do beforehand. We teach you what to do during. We teach you how to use the various different devices, how it works on Instagram, how it works on Facebook, the software that you can use to go on all of them at once, what to do after the fact to get the highest ROI, how to email it. And, you know, it's been really, really fun, right? Because before I would just, you know, write blog posts and case studies and say, hey, like, here's what I want you to do. Now I have all of my customers. I see them on a weekly basis because they're in these Zoom chats. And it's so fun because we have customers all the way from 80 and change all the way down to like in the 20s, right? And so you get so many people that are like, come on and they're like, Patrick, I did it. I'm so excited I did it. I did my first live, right? And you know, I had technical difficulties and I was nervous and I had to have a glass of wine and my husband helped and he didn't know what he was doing, but I did it and it was actually really fun. And my answer is the same thing every time. Awesome. Now go do 1,000 of them. Now go do 1,000 of them. Go do 1,000 of them because you need to get better. You need to get more comfortable with it. It's the most effective way to do things. So yes, we teach you every single solitary aspect of it.
Also the YouTube channel, or that's something that's wouldn't be so good for the artist part?
No, YouTube can be good, but it's a question of ROI, right? Like return on investment, your time, your treasure. Right now, Facebook and Instagram have more of an art buying attention than YouTube does. So most artists don't have big YouTube channels. We have a few
So
that
you don't
do.
need to, yeah.
You don't have to worry.
Funneling us into what works the best.
100%, yeah, and ignoring everything else. And I can't tell you how important the ignoring part is. Yeah.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Martina. Okay. Yeah, Conrad wants to see sites. I get that. There was another question I forgot. Oh, it was Carolyn. Carolyn, yeah, you know, if you have a printer that has the capabilities that's decent size, they can do all of those various different media types. You know, some local mom and pop shops can't do metal, can't do acrylic. They can do the other ones. And so, you know, if you want a site, April, we put a link in the chat to the ASF prints. We have one that's stitched together with one of our printers. So you could just put the order through there and they'll send it all to your house. And, you know, it's not like a business for us. We don't make any money on it. It'll just kind of show you how easy it is to do because you need to be bigger sized. But all right, Francisco, it's game time. What's up? You'll have to unmute. I'll let you know when you get it. No, not there yet. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. I'm really shy.
That's all right. I know. Trust me. I used to be really shy too. That's why I got it. That's why I have to pick on you, especially on a Friday.
So all this that you're saying, it's because I don't have page. I just started my painting this quarantine, and I find out that I love this thing, and I want to do this. So but I don't have a page. So it comes with the page and all that you say.
Yes, it comes with the web page and everything else. But again, you need to. Have you tried to sell any of the work yet?
Yeah, I have sold but recreations for pictures for people, but yeah, just like 3 or 4 pieces, not that much. But I've been, because I haven't shown my art so much out there or what I do. So but the people that see close, my friends, they're like, okay, I want to print, I want this, I want that. But I didn't know how to show up my art on website or something like that. So it's good to know that you guys have all that.
Yeah. We got everything. But congrats. I love that you found a new hobby and you're trying to grow it into a business. That's an exciting time. Start a Facebook page, start an Instagram account, start posting the stuff there regularly, and
Yeah,
keep
I
some.
have it all down already.
Good.
I'm doing some videos and stuff, but I need my like page and so that people can see all my my paintings and stuff.
Yeah. Well, perfect. Well, thanks for coming on. I'm glad you talked. I got you out of your shell a little bit. That's what it takes. That's what it takes to get good at the lives too. All right, Conrad, did you say you had to leave or you want to jump in? Unmute, Conrad. Yeah. I'll let you know when you get it. Mic, bottom left-hand corner. Yep, got you.
Yes, I'm really interested. I just want to, I'm trying to figure out the other income level or the membership levels, because you said there's also, it starts at 1,000, however it goes higher.
Yes.
I'm wondering, what does those prices include?
It's length of the term, and then it's like additional bells and whistles that are not offered on the lower plans. So, I mean, the best thing to do is, we use the demo process, and everyone gets scared about it. I promise, our outreach team are not like, pushy, slam you in and close it salespeople. So you request a demo, they set up like a 10 to 15 minute phone call where you can ask whatever you want, and they know all the details on all the various different prices and everything else. I don't even have the room in my head for it, and they're changing it all the time. And so you do that, and then you say, okay, cool. If you're over it, that's fine. They'll never call you again. If you want to schedule the demo, then they schedule like the whole, hour and 10 minute Zoom or whatever it is.
Yeah, because I heard earlier you said it starts at 1,000, and that's a lifetime membership into the university.
Yes.
However, then you said there's one that like runs like 2,800, or you said 2,000 something, and it's for 4 years.
Yeah, they do like 3-year deals, 4-year deals, 5-year deals. Some people want the entire thing set up, from scratch, so they don't have to do anything. So that's an opportunity. There's like a whole bunch of different things in there that you can find out about.
Okay, the starting rate at 1,000. Does that include the website?
Yeah,
and
everything. Yeah,
Okay.
everything. You won't have some of the top level features, but like I said, you can upgrade or downgrade at any point in time. We work with all our customers, so it's just whatever it takes to get in and get you marketing. Really, I mean that's the long and the short of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's it. I got to get going, but thank you very much.
Good luck at the doctors.
I'll schedule a demo later.
Okay.
I'm going to be out of range for social media or internet. So, but I'll get with you tomorrow, or I'll request a demo early tomorrow morning.
Yeah, do that and just say Patrick said that I get to lock in the lower pricing. So, and
okay.
Yeah, they can blame me. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Good luck at the doctor, man. Bye. Okay, Daniela's back. What's up, Daniela? You have to unmute. Yep, gotcha.
Yes. Well, no, I had a question about the pricing.
Yes.
And I have had the demo already.
Yes.
And I think that my question actually doesn't belong here.
Okay.
Because it's specific to pricing. And since it hasn't been answered now, because does the promotion end today, or when does that?
Yes, unless they extend it, which I don't know if they will or they're not. Sometimes if there's more people calling than they can handle, they sometimes extend it a couple of days, but I don't know if they'll do that or not. So
because well,
just send them to me in the chat, and I'll see if I can answer them.
Okay, sounds great.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah. Okay. All right, can you extend the price for me? Yeah, Martina, I'm telling you, all the outreach guys are cool. Do we have a gal in there too? I think we have a gal in there. I think we have a couple gals in there. I don't know. We're growing fast. I can't even put all the names to faces anymore. That's when the company's getting big when you can't all share a pizza. There's like a pizza rule for meetings. If your team cannot all sit at a table with one large pizza, your team is too big. So they say then you need to break it into smaller teams. But they're really cool. So just request a demo and say look, I got in before the deadline. Be cool. I want to sign up such and such. Here's where I am. Deal with it. That's what I do. You got to twist arms sometimes. Just don't tell them I told you to do it. Hazel, I'm going to unmute you. I don't really understand this question. You're going to have to tell me.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
It's good, thank you. I'm working currently with bigger galleries,
Okay.
and I'm trying to go onto a much bigger scale because that's the direction that my work's going in.
Okay.
And I'm trying to work out the marketing process for that, of how to sell these things to designers, people who are with large companies,
Yes.
big buildings, commercial, medical, large scale buildings that could be governmental, for instance, or diplomatic, or, you know, they're currently they're very large, extremely colorful, abstract pictures that I do digitally, and then I blow them up, and they come out really spectacularly. And I want to try and reach as many people as possible.
Amazing.
But what I'm looking for is the highest quality possible in the print process, working through how to hang them.
Yes.
On the material side, but also on the marketing side, because you sounded like a complete guru about working out how to talk through the problems of reaching the right people who would be interested.
Yeah. I love this question, and I'll answer it for you because there's some interesting ways to answer it. But tell me just briefly, because I'm curious. So you had your work in a bunch of gallery representation, and they were selling for you up till now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's.
But I've gradually got bigger.
Okay.
And I, you know, that this is why I'm hitting this problem, because it's a different range of people who are likely to buy it. Previously, it's been, you know, I started off with the local friends, people in, you know, churches, everybody that I knew would come to my gallery shows, and I'd put on live music and, you know, create an event and sell a lot. Whereas now I want to go further up in the market, and I have been selling to people that I don't know as well, but I feel that I need to sort of think more commercially about doing large scale public artworks.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm thinking about that, really.
And it, you know, it puts you in a really like interesting position, and it's funny because I literally just had this conversation yesterday with a customer, and admittedly he's an unusual customer, and it will resonate with you significantly, so I want to bring it up. Here's a guy that lives in Northern California, sold well over $2 million worth of art in galleries, you know, sort of in the prime of his career, you know, probably around like 50, 52 years old, but he let the galleries handle all of it, right? All of his galleries are shut, and he's never cultivated his own collector list, and he's never, you know, never done his own marketing. He hasn't had to, and it busts you up, right? Because it's hard telling someone at that age you have to start marketing like you're an 18-year-old and you're just starting this business again, right? But sadly,
well, luckily I've had experience with marketing it myself. But yes, I have fallen foul of that.
Yes. So another thing that I would say is that, you know, you're asking the question that I love, which is, how do I market essentially to high net worth individuals, right? To actual legitimate buyers is really what you're asking, i.e., you know, hotels, hospitals, any of this. And while there are ways that you can do that, and I can give you some tactical on how you do that, I don't think it's the highest ROI way to do it. And let me explain.
Right.
You know, when everybody wants the same thing, it's very difficult to do. And what do I mean by that? Aside from the 99-cent stores, okay, every single solitary business in the world only wants to market, for the most part, to the high net worth individuals. And so by virtue of the fact that everybody wants to do something, there's very little arbitrage, and it's very competitive. It's difficult to do. And so, you know, I use the example, a perfect corollary example is the interior designers. Everyone comes and they say, I just want to get my art in front of interior designers. And then there's always three versions of that question. And it's either, how do I get my art in front of interior designers after you tell me I'm going to do nothing about it? How do I get my art in front of interior designers? And after you tell me I'll do it for a month, and then the people that actually legitimately want to do it. So, okay, here's how you're going to get your art in front of interior designers. All interior designers hang out on Houzz. Houzz is a site, Houzz. And, you know, it's basically like Pinterest. And so what I want you to do is go onto that site, and I want you to contact 50 interior designers every single solitary day, 5 days a week for a year, probably a year and a half.
Wow.
If you do that, you might be in a position where you can build a business selling to those interior designers, because there's a different sales cycle in every time that you do that. Or, and this is what I actually recommend, which I think is higher ROI, everyone's followers, mine, yours, Martina's, Francisco's followers, all follow a bell curve. Okay, standard issue bell curve. This side of the bell curve, lower income folks that are never going to buy anything. They're awesome because they'll like and they'll comment and they'll share and they'll tell their friends, but they're never going to buy anything. And then you have lower middle class, upper middle class, and then you have upper class, right? Everyone's followers follow that bell curve more or less. And so if I'm looking at your business and it's my business, I can either attempt to target nothing but the high-end individuals and go after all these folks and get all the tactical stuff, or I can say my follower curve is a bell curve. I understand that. If I just market more and do it consistently and do the correct marketing, obviously what we teach, then I'm going to have more followers and more followers and more followers. And I'm not going to stress about the fact that my followers represent the entire bell curve. I'm just going to get more attention, more attention, and more attention. And what ends up happening as a result of that is there's a residue of success that comes from that execution. And it never comes the way that you think it does, but you end up getting way more attention. More people are talking about you, and somehow the high net worth individuals find out and you get the business that way. And, you know, go ahead. Well,
I think I completely agree. I think that that's more authentic as well. When I've had shows, I've always had a large range of work, you know, from small prints for a few $100s right through to, you know, thousands. And that way, you know, even smaller amounts than that, come to think of it, small pieces, so that everybody can buy and everybody can have an investment in my work. And that to me is a sort of democratic way of doing it. And it means that it has a great deal of meaning that, you know, a builder can come into my place, see my work and go out with something. You know, that is something very special to that, as well as someone from a major church wants to have my work in there. You know, it's sort of it's been that way. So
yeah, congrats. There's a whole lot of people that want that level of success and that never get there. So you're already up in the rarefied atmosphere.
But it's keeping the momentum, especially now that things have changed dramatically. And I think I've got to change my methodology quite a great deal too. This is a helpful conversation, actually.
Yeah, you do. I mean, you know, there's been a subtle shift in the balance of power in the world, right? And especially as it pertains to the art industry. And big picture, the currency of today's day and age is not dollars or pounds or Deutschmarks or anything else. It's attention. If you have the attention, you can do anything. And I always reference, you know, and people laugh at me for this. Do you know who are some of the most powerful people in the world right now? The Kardashians. You want to know why? Because they could come out with anything. They could start painting tomorrow, and it could be the worst, ugliest thing you've ever seen, and they would sell $200 million worth of art because they have that much attention on standby just like that. So when you realize that, you realize, okay, if I have attention, I can do anything. It makes sense to start building my own, right? And, you know, the galleries had the attention back in the day. They had the foot traffic. They had the buyer network. They kept all that data. They never gave it to you. And, you know, while it might have been a nice relationship, it was also heavily exploitative, right? Like a 50-50 split, not keeping your customer data, that's ridiculous. And so, you know, your hope is that those revenue channels come back for you because you're one of the few that really got it working for you. And at some point in time, I do believe that they will, but you should never be reliant on those in lieu of building your own, right? In lieu of building your own. So, and you're no different than anyone else. Like you just need, you need the plan. You need to focus in on the marketing. It needs to be quotidian, you know, to the best of your ability, and you need to do it for a number of years. Once you do, you are utterly, totally, and completely not relying on the galleries anymore, and you can look at them as just gravy rather than your primary revenue channel.
Yeah. Well, that's very helpful indeed. Thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Where's that accent from, just out of curiosity?
It's originally from Leicestershire in England, but I live in Houston, Texas now.
Nice. Leicester, sir. Were you pleased to see Leicester City win?
Certainly.
I thought that was an amazing season. That was one of the most enjoyable things I've ever seen in my life. Huge.
They're phenomenal players. I've always loved them since I was a child. It's a very lively team.
Very lively.
Yeah. So I'm grateful, and all the best to you. And
likewise.
I'll see how this goes. It's very challenging what you're saying, and helpful too. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. And it is challenging. Like I get fired up about it because I love when the old power brokers get completely disrupted and, you know, get their comeuppance, right? Like I loved when the MP3s destroyed the music industry. I loved when Netflix destroyed Blockbuster. I loved when Uber destroyed taxis. And I do believe that we're moving into a zone where that's happening in the art industry now. And it's incredible in a whole bunch of different ways. You guys are creators. You are inventors. And to create your creation, you don't have to wait for a plastic injection molding to come from China, or you don't have to wait. You don't have to like use any outside services. You can just create this thing. That's amazing. You can sell internationally and direct from your own website. That's insane. You can do that without leaving your own house. That's insane. But at the same time, that doesn't mean it's easy, right? It doesn't, you still have to do the marketing. You still have to get the access to that level of attention. But when you do, the equation is so much better than it used to be. Like, you know, this concept of a 50-50, 60-40, do not keep your customer data split is absolutely ludicrous to me. And I read, I'm in Southern California. And so Wyland's got a big gallery here. He's got this book. It's a great book. Don't be a starving artist. Why would you want to read this? He's the _1 best-selling author in the entire world, let alone the United States right now. Some people say that. I don't know to what extent that's true, but he talks about his collectors, and he defines collectors as people that buy in excess of 7 pieces over the course of the lifetime. And he talks about how important it is to cultivate these collectors. And I've been doing this for 5 years now, so you know, some of our early on customers, I've got to see their business evolve over 5 years, and it's like the bread and butter, the core of your guys' business is maintaining this database of collectors that you own, something that you don't get, that the gallery keeps when you're doing the gallery model, because you keep getting better, your prices keep graduating up the chain, and the collectors just go right along the ride with you, and they just keep buying and buying and buying and buying. And it's like you have that core of the business, and then everything you do on top of it, and it's a very intelligent way to go about it.
Yeah, it sounds very good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I have to go now, but I'm very grateful, and I hope you have a great day.
Ditto.
And,
have an incredible weekend, Hazel. Thank you.
You too. Thanks very much. All the best.
Bye. Okay, Larry, you're up. Go ahead, Larry.
All right. My artwork is very diversified. It goes from portraiture to sci-fi, fantasy, landscapes, seascapes, whatever commission I get. Like my one coming up, I have to do an 18 by 24. It looks very similar to the Constitution, but it's a marriage contract on parchment. So I have to make the parchment, all that. But on art storefronts, does it matter the wide range of artwork that I have?
No, not at all. Not in the slightest. Not in the slightest. And this is a variant of like the niche selection. It's like, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know which of that particular variation is going to sell the best. It could be, you know, what you have over here. It could be what you have over here. It could be anything in between. And so you won't know until you start selling it. And that's number one. Number two, you know, you guys are all solopreneurs. You are the brand as much as the artwork is. People want to know who the artist is. And so a lot of times people will get hung up on what's my niche, what's my style, what's my color palette, what am I doing? And to an extent, of course, it's important, but it's also important, who are you? What is your name? What are you into? What are your peccadillos? What, you know, how are you funny or not funny? And what do you look like on social media? So you're a part of the brand as much as everything else. And when you come to terms with that, you're like, okay, so it might not even matter what my niche is, because it's just as important who I am as it is what the work is, right? And not only that, you're going to have a long career doing this. You're going to have 55 different things you're going to pivot in and out of throughout that course. So don't stress about that in the slightest up front. Just put out what you've got. After a period of time has gone by where you've done the marketing 6 months, 9 months, a year, 2 years, and that one thing is not selling, okay, no big deal. Get all that off the site, right? That stuff's not selling. It's not working. Go in a different direction. So that's what I would say.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Okay, Danielle, I looked at your chat. That's definitely over my head. I honestly don't know what the answer to those questions are. If I could answer them for you, I totally would. I'd say just call them back and grind them down. If I could help, I would totally help. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, further questions. No, Martina, I'm not saying I keep 70% of originals. I'm saying the traditional gallery relationship is either a 50-50 split on revenue, or it's a 60-40 or 70-30, depending on what it looks like. That's normally how things are split up. So yeah, that's what I would say. Okay, Cora, you're up next, Cora. I love that name, Cora.
All right.
Great name.
Thank you. My question is, as a photographer, I know that you said on your website people can order, the metals and the acrylics and all. What size of file do I need to have? So if somebody ordered a 30 by 40 or a large image, wanted a large image, how do I make sure that my file is big enough?
Got it. So you're talking about, how the work has been photographed. A couple of things. One, our system tells you immediately, right when you upload it, how big you can go on that particular work. So you can look at the results and say, am I happy with that? If so, no problem. If not, then maybe I need to get things rephotographed. But we also have in April put this article in the chat, as well as we'll send it to you guys after the fact. And we have a guy that this is all he did for like 15 years of his career was photograph art for reproduction. Okay. And so he wrote this really in-depth article. I just sent it to you in the chat there, that talks about all the different ways that you can get your art photographed, everything from an iPhone up to sending it out to everything in between. So I would look at that. But if you've already got it photographed, our system will tell you right out of the gates you can go this big.
Okay. And then the other question I guess I would have, so that larger file, is that, do I send that, do I have that on the website, or how does, because when people look at, I know when people look at.
No. So what happens is that you upload the really large file that goes into a secret archive that only the printer has and you have on your back end. That's not what's shown on the website. So it's not like somebody could just download it. Yeah. Don't worry about that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Okay. All right. Yeah, what else? Any other questions, guys? While we've got it going on a Friday, you can raise your hand. You can put it in the chat. Let me make sure I've got everything on the socials. Ziggy Pie is saying it's educational marketing advice. Well, maybe I'll agree with you on that. They're saying my content is similar to someone from ADI. I don't have any idea who ADI is, Ziggy. I promise my content is my own, friend. What else? Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, Rob's up. Go ahead, Rob.
Hey, I'm sorry. Hold on. Wait, hold on a second. I don't know if you can see me.
Nope, can't see you, but I can hear you.
Oh, just meant to. Wait, I gotta take my headphones off here. I can't hear myself thinking.
Yeah. Right.
Patrick.
Yes.
This was the most one of the most important sessions I've heard in my life. You're great.
Oh, thanks.
I'm
Rob.
Swiss.
Nice.
I exhibit in Switzerland. I teach abstract expressionism pro bono to kids in Switzerland.
Oh, that's awesome.
I go back and forth from Zurich, Switzerland to Cape May, New Jersey.
Okay.
Cape May, New Jersey is a National Historic Site. The presidents live here. 40,000 people come here. I'm on a prime hunt to exhibit at wineries, distilleries, galleries, breweries. You know why? The people sit there with a glass of red wine staring at a tent. So anyway, I've been painting abstract expressionism for 12 years. All of my exhibits in 2020 have been canceled in the USA.
Yeah.
I mean, hot spots a whole month. Every wall is me. So anyway, my point, if I can express it right now to you, is I would love to go right as fast as possible for the membership fee, the 1,000, maybe a PayPal or something. And I definitely want to get back to creating a website. Now, I own my own company. I'm selling it for $5 million. I have my own website with GoDaddy.
Yep.
Man, do they stink.
Yep.
So I want to create through you a website, Rob Z Painter.
Yep.
And exhibit more through that way. I've had some super sales in the last 3 to 6 months, but
yeah, 2020 was a phenomenal
price,
year.
I'm laughing. The New York Times today, Botticelli, a little image of a person, $92 million.
That's amazing.
Now, I'm not saying my work is any, like mine is like a
Was that at one of the auction
400
houses?
to 4,000.
Was that at like
let's say.
Christie's or something?
I don't.